Hi everybody, my name is Shelly and I'm here today to do a tutorial with you on how to make your Christmas tree salt dough ornament. It will be found inside of your goodie bag that you picked up from the Santa's breakfast drive-thru. It's a little bit weird this year, isn't it? But we're going to make the best of it, and we're going to make a lovely ornament, and you can hang it on your tree. You can give it away as a gift. You can use it as a tag on a Christmas gift, whatever you would like to do with it. Hang it on your bedroom doorknob, whatever you would like to do, whatever your little heart desires. So I'm going to go through the extra things that you're going to need that aren't in the kit. And they're probably things you've got kicking around the house. You're going to need a butter knife. You're going to need a baking sheet. I'm going to use my pizza pan. And if they're mom's really good pans, you might want to put some parchment down first. This is just an old rickety pan, so it doesn't matter. Lots of crafts at my house get done on this pan. So there's my butter knife. Now you're going to need a rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a can, and that's what we're going to use today. It's just a can. This is a heat gun, and I'm going to use it, as you will see in a little bit, to help dry my things up a little bit quicker, just to speed up the process. You can use a hair dryer, but be sure that you ask permission of the person that the hair dryer, the heat gun, whatever you're using. This is actually an embossing gun, and get permission to use it before you touch it, so you don't get in trouble. And my little peeps, you always need to ask permission before you use these kinds of things too. And maybe whoever's looking after you, mommy, daddy, grandma, big brother, big sister, your sitter, whoever's looking after you, maybe they should use the things with heat and the things that may be a little bit sharp. Also, my handy dandy glue gun. So that's plugged in and heating up as we speak. And my heat gun's ready to rock and roll. Now, there's two parts to this kit. You will have a little bag like this, and you will have the directions on how to bake it. So you want whoever is in charge to heat the oven up to 220. Okay, so preheat your oven to 220 while we're getting all of this stuff ready, and those directions will be attached to this little bag of salt dough. And this is some really fun salt dough, as you can see. It's got sparkles in it. Isn't that pretty? So your ornament will be awesome. Also attached to that bag, you're going to have this tree pattern, and you're going to cut that out, and that's what we're going to use for your tree. Okay, so we'll just sip this up till we're ready to use it. Keep it nice and moist. Now in the paper bag, you're going to find some kind of weird stuff. There's going to be a little tiny star, and I bet you can guess what that's for. The top of the tree, that's right. So we'll just put that up over there. And this is a straw. Oh my goodness, what is that for? Well, I wasn't sure if everybody would have straws in their house that would be able to poke the hole at the top of the tree for your string. So that's what we're going to use that for. Now you've got this little pretty thread with the silver running through it, and that's your tree hanger. And this pretty little piece of glittery silver is going to be your garland on your tree. Now you should have a paintbrush. I've got two today here because, and your paintbrushes will look a little bit different than mine. These are just out of my kits. I'm going to not be able to run to the sink and rinse my brushes out in between. So that's why I've got two and you've only got one. You've got the little paint pot of red paint. Okay. And then you've got your little paint pot of Mod Podge. So let's get to it. We're going to take our dough. You might want a wet cloth too, because this dough's a little bit messy. I've got some baby wipes that I'm going to use. Now, I have been sitting, but we're just going to roll this dough out, and you want it to about 1/8 of an inch. So you want it kind of thin. Now, if you've got a rolling pin, that's awesome. But if you don't, we're going to make do, right? Not exactly sure where my rolling pin got to, so a can of alphagetti shall do the trick. Now, you might have a little bit of extra dough left over, and if you want to cut out a circle, you could make a green Christmas tree bulb, or you could do all kinds of things. You could make a smaller tree. Now, there we go. I pre-cut that. And this is what the butter knife's for. Okay. So roughly everybody should have the same amount of dough. So if you've got siblings that have a little bit more, they might have gotten a little bit more, or if they have a little bit less. And if you have a tree cookie cutter, you could use that too. But I didn't have enough cookie cutters to send to everybody, so I thought we could just cut out the tree pattern. Now, if you do have dough left over, be sure to use it. You could make a smaller tree, or you could make a couple of trees. Or if you've got cookie cutters, you could that you can use, you could use them on all kinds of, you could do all different kinds of Christmas themed things, maybe a bell. So you want to gently peel that up, put it on your cookie sheet. Okay, clean up your edges a little bit. Even if you're using a cookie cutter, sometimes edges get a little bit messy. Because remember, this tree will bake out whatever you decide to put it in as. Now, it might be kind of fun to turn the edges of your tree up a little bit if you desire. It's kind of fun. You don't have to, but do whatever you'd like. Now, you need to put your bulbs on. So you want to push gently with your finger and just give it some bulbs. Now you'll see how that's going to be bulbs later. Now you take your straw and you just poke a hole about there. There you go. Oops. There. Now, you pop this into the oven at 225 for 3 hours. Now that's going to be on the directions that are stapled to the bag, to your bag with this sheet. Okay, so 225 or 220, sorry, for 3 hours. Now you're going to bake that for about an hour and a half, and then you want to flip it over so that the bottom side bakes too. Now, sometimes everybody's oven is a little bit different. So sometimes you might have to bake it a little bit longer or a lot longer. So just have your big person, keep checking it, and make sure that it's drying out nicely. Now there's a very, very fine line you don't want to cross, and you want to not burn it. So if it starts turning brown, pull it out, okay? So 220, start it out at 3 hours, flip it over at about an hour and a half, and keep checking it about every half hour. And if you have to put it in longer, then you have to put it in longer, okay? So now, because I don't want to keep you on here for 3 hours or longer, I already baked some up. I bet you were scared, weren't you? Is she gonna make me stay here for 3 hours? No, I would never do that to you. So we will pop this in the oven, and then while that's baking, we will work on the ones that I've already baked so I can show you how to do stuff. Okay? So I'm just gonna clean up my salt dough off my mat. Clean my hands a little bit. Alrighty. Now, here is mine. I didn't turn the edges up on that one. And my little fingerprints. And those are my Christmas balls. Now what we're going to do with that, I don't want to put that down wet. Let's see here. I know, let's dry it with this. Great. All right. So my mat is dry. And I can put my salt ornament down. Now, I should have told you before too, I am so sorry. What you're going to need is paint and a wet wipe or a cloth or a paper towel or something. Now, you can paint this one of two ways. Now, the most fun, of course, is going to be sticking your finger in there and filling your fingerprint. See if you can try to remember which finger you used. Okay. And just kind of fill your fingerprint up with the paint. It's kind of fun. Or you can use one of the paintbrushes. I'm having too much fun. I'm just gonna fill this puppy up with the paint with my fingertip. It's fun getting messy, isn't it? Well, maybe mom and dad and whoever's taking care of you aren't excited for you to get messy, but so there's all my little fingerprints filled up. And now this is where my hair dryer or my heat gun is gonna dry up the paint. Oh dear, I got a little bit. There. So this will just speed the paint drying a little bit. Now they're kind of like little puddles of paint in there. Can you see that? So we want to make sure that they're really dry. A hair dryer works really, really good. Now, what are you going to do with your ornament? Are you going to give it to Grandma maybe? Or are you going to hang it up in your bedroom as your own Christmas decoration? What are you going to do with your cute little salt dough ornament? Maybe put it on Mom's Christmas gift as a tag? Like, what are you going to do? Let's flip this over. Okay, I think they're dry. Oh. Still a little bit. We'll do one more time. If you have enough dough, maybe you could make one for a gift and one for you too. There's lots of paint. You might have to find another star and some more garland and another string, but you should be able to make another one. You should have enough dough. And if not, you have the recipe that's attached to the bag, so you can mix up some more dough. Maybe you'd like to do some yellow, or maybe you'd like to do some red and make some different shapes. So there we go. Dried up our paint. Now, this is what your paintbrush is going to be used for. And this is really super messy. But messy is fun, right? Messy is fun. So here we go. We're going to take the Mod Podge. And it goes on white, but it will dry clear. Okay? And the reason that we do this is because, and you want to get all the edges, because your salt dough ornament needs to be sealed. Otherwise, it will either pick up moisture and be ruined and get wrecked, or it will get brittle and break. But usually they pick up the moisture from the condensation in your home. So, or if it's stored, there's always a little bit of humidity, a little bit of moisture. So we want to make sure we get all of it. Okay. Now, you can use the hairdryer again for this. I'm just going to flip the back. So we want to get all of it, all of it, all of it. And this is just a really, really gluey, pasty kind of substance in it. It's really messy, but kind of fun. So try to get it all covered. Every edge, right? Every edge. Did you write your letters to Santa? Did you drop them off when you picked up your goodie bags? What did you ask Santa for this year, guys? Do you leave cookies and milk for Santa? Do you leave anything for the reindeer? For the reindeer crew? There we go. Now, even the underparts of the branches, make sure you get the tips. The under part of the branches. There we go. Very top where my hands were. Okay, now let's dry this puppy. And you might have to let this set and dry, which I think we're going to have to do. So we're just going to do this little tiny one without the Mod Podge. I wondered if that would happen. So I had a little tiny one done with some of my leftover so we'll just quickly, whoops, that one got a little bit messy. Quickly give it some more. So this one will not last as long as the one with the Mod Podge on it. But I just want you to see how we need to create this. So I dribbled a little bit of paint here. Oops. Good old wet wipes, right? They fix everything. So here we go. Dry our paint again. Now, if you're using a hair dryer, you can turn the temperature to different settings. This is a heat embossed gun, and I can't do that with this, unfortunately. Some of them you can, but not this one that I'm using today. Okay, so that's not 100% totally dry, but it's dry enough for us to do what we need to do next, right? So we have our string, and we are going to go like this with our string. Make it even. And then we're going to thread it through like this. Do you see what I did? I got the loop. And I'm going to put the loop through the hole. I've got that sticky stuff on my fingers. My fingers are sticking to everything. And we will put the loop through like that. And then we'll tie a little knot up at the top. Isn't that a pretty sparkly string? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put that little star on. And I know you know where the star goes, right? Oh, actually, let's put this on first. Okay, so you should have this pretty little garland. Now, what you want to do is we'll start with a little tiny bit of glue at the back of your tree. Don't burn your fingers. If you need some help, don't be scared to ask, because we want you to have fun. We don't want you to be hurt. And then a little bit of glue right there. Now, some of you have a little bit different string. It's twisted together. Now, if you want to untwist that, then you'll have 3 strands, and you could do all kinds of fun stuff putting that garland on. A little bit of glue back here. Kind of pull it snug. And you should have enough garland to do the big tree too. This one is going to probably, oh, we'll do it up a little bit higher. Oops. Oh, I don't want to break it. That would be so sad, wouldn't it? A little bit down here. Oh, that went right into that Christmas decoration fingerprint, didn't it? And a little bit right here. You shouldn't have to trim yours if you make a big tree, but so my garland is on my tree. Isn't that pretty and sparkly? And here's my very, very pretty star. And you guys will have all colors of stars. And if you make a second one, you could put whatever you wanted at the top, whatever you've got laying around the house, or you could make one, or you could do all kinds of different stuff if you'd like. If you've got some Christmassy things. There we go. And there is our lovely little Christmas tree. Isn't that pretty? With your fingerprints and your little Christmas balls. Isn't that gorgeous? There you go. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you've enjoyed doing the craft with me today. I certainly have enjoyed doing it with you. I hope that the new year brings you lots and lots and lots and lots of happy times and health, and enjoy playing out there in the snow over the Christmas break. And Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye.